Hey, what's up, everybody? Merry Christmas. That's right. It's early mid-November. We're charging our way through the November months. It's hard to believe that Christmas is only about 6 weeks away. And if you're one of those people who stops to only celebrate gratitude one day a year, happy coming Thanksgiving. See, we believe Thanksgiving is an important day on the way to Christmas. Guys, I love Christmas. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, we've already got Christmas trees up all over our house. Such a wonderful time of year, and then so much still going on in our industry. The thing I love about this time of year is taking time to focus on what's going on within my business, within our businesses, and looking for opportunities to improve or scale and grow. It is much easier to make some changes now, begin to implement and evaluate the results so that you can run hard, right? We hit February or March, full speed, run hard through the summer, and then enjoy life. But also during the winter months, I want you guys also thinking about what you can be doing to make a difference in 2022, and go and start putting those things in place now. Start making changes. I usually am okay with my budget model being a little bit out of line during the winter months because I look at those as investments that I'm making to get usually people, systems, or processes up to speed and running while I can focus on them now before we get hectic busy again in the spring. So I hope you're having a wonderful November. I want to jump into industry news. There's a lot going on in our industry right now. First and foremost, Keller Williams came out with their quarterly earnings. Keep in mind, Keller Williams is not a publicly traded company, so we're not obligated to come out with quarterly earning reports. And yet we can actually pick and choose what we want to release as a company, or KWRI can pick and choose what they want to release as a company. A lot of speculation around Keller Williams going public. I think all indicators from the mothership in Austin would say that that's highly likely. A lot of the moves you see them making support that decision, right? And so I think it's smart, right? Gary has said to us many times that he really doesn't want to go public, but if he does, he'll retain majority ownership and majority control. And in order for us to be able to play at a high level, the amount of funds available via Wall Street would help with that, right? So what do they tell us, right? The big takeaway from the earnings report from Keller Williams this quarter was really in looking at year over year growth, right? And so numbers down just a little bit, Q3 of 2021 over Q3 of 2020, mostly related to what we believe to be COVID related, right? So as I started thinking about that, what does that mean for our local business, for our local economy, as we're trying to compare stats year over year. A lot of us here locally in Tennessee use RealTracs and therefore have the stats in there. And so I'm going to encourage you as you're looking through the stats, not just to compare it to 2022, but then go back and compare it to 2019 and 2018. All the past 4 years, including 2021, have been, have followed a similar cycle. And so you do see that spike in 2020 and Q3 from the pent up demand early when we got quarantined with COVID. And so comparing this Q3 or Q3 of 2019 to 2020 is going to be a little bit of a challenge because you don't see the seasonal shift in 2020 because of that pent up demand moving later into the year. So just keep that in mind, right? As you're being the local economist of choice, as you're being the local realtor and influencer, as you talk to clients, the best thing you can do is tell them what's going on in the market with confidence, that you're aware of the economics that are being played, right, or that are at play. So just think of it, right? You want to make sure you're studying your stats, knowing your market, understanding how many homes are on the market, and really relative to what is it normally like this time of year. I hear a lot of people say that it's slowing down some. I don't know that the numbers indicate that very much. So if you're seeing a slowdown, you may be looking at it in an isolated time period. You got to give it enough time to really recognize, is that true? We definitely are seeing fewer homes on the market. So again, continuing to put downward pressure on supply, which with current demand will continue to drive prices up if possible. So that kind of leads us into the next piece, right? As you look at Q3 earnings overall, just as an industry, as across the nation, some of the best numbers, NAR came out and said that 99% of major metro markets saw an increase in median home price, and a huge number of locations saw double-digit increases year over year in home prices, right? So if you have clients that bought in the last 2 or 3 years, where we normally want to see an appreciation rate, somewhere around 3 or 4% of home values in a typical market, double digits means that's 10% plus. A lot of places seeing 16, 18, 21%. growth in prices year over year, guys. That is amazing, and it's absolutely unsustainable, right? So I want to make sure that we're clear on that type of growth. As realtors, we really don't want to see that type of growth for very long, right? That's going to be difficult to maintain and sustain. It's going to create more of an imbalanced market. And I want to circle back around. If you've been watching these videos a few weeks ago, we talked about how awesome 2022 is going to be. And that's true, right? But you have to be in the advantage in the space to capitalize on it. 2022 is going to be an amazing year for real estate. There's a lot of disruptors going on in our industry. And so while we normally think of a shifting market in terms of pricing shift, supply shift, some type of economic impact, you have to be aware of the disruptors, of the players in the space and what's going on. There will be agents in 2022, albeit a great real estate market, that sell fewer homes, right? That miss the signs of what's going on and are not poised in a position to take advantage of that. So why be a KW agent? I hope it's because you have information like this coming to you that helps you be a more educated, well-versed agent when you're out talking to the consumer about the marketplace. And a video isn't going to do it for you, right? I want to encourage you to go and dive into the stats. Yeah, if you don't have an Inman subscription, it's $19.95 a month, right? Sign up for Inman and read it. There's a lot of noise in there, but if you pay attention, there's a lot going on that they're saying about the industry that you can pick up on the underlying themes. Okay, so we've kind of talked about the growth in third quarter of home sales and home prices. We've talked about the flat to slight down numbers overall for Q3 on numbers of listings and sales. However, I think relate that to COVID. All in all, drop in the bucket, not an overall big deal. Lastly, we want to dig into just some of the morsels out there. Zillow continues to be a hot topic in our industry as they have become their own brokerage and opened up their own mortgage company. Have now decided, as we've talked about, to get out of the iBuying program, to not buy homes. And recently this week unloaded about 2,000 homes to local rental portfolios, such as American Homes for Rent or Blackstone, right? And so you have these companies out there, they're now offloading it. Again, you guys, you can take two points of view, right? You can get high on the horse and kind of point fingers and go, haha, look at Zillow. They seem to be struggling. I don't know, man. I mean, they've got some pretty smart leaders. And so I don't believe that they're doing this foolishly. I think it's probably the right call for them to diversify. What I'm trying to look at and go like, what are they going to focus on? Because, they may take a black eye in the media right now on what they're doing, but ultimately they're doing it so they can get stronger somewhere else. And they believe that getting stronger and providing the consumer experience and coming directly in contact with the consumer. So what does that mean for us? Again, I want you to consider Zillow like a Remax or a Compass or anything else, right? They're just another player in the market. But at the same time, they have a lot of eyeballs coming to their website. And so we want to make sure that you have your website set up, right? That people can come and search for homes on your site and it's branding you and your business and not somebody else's. Guys, remember, anytime you let a third party or an intermediary get in between you and the client, they're going to learn how to make money, and they're going to do that at your expense, right? And so most of the companies out there looking to be disruptors right now either want to partner with an agent in order to help you be more successful, but do it at a cost to you, right? So think of like a HomeLight and UpNest are good examples of this right now, right? They work with agents and through agents to provide you leads. You pay a 25, 30, 35% referral fee on the back end when it closes. And a lot of us are happy to do that because we wouldn't have had the business otherwise. But they're getting in the middle of the transaction between you and a consumer. Somewhere online, they just have a portal that someone's registered and saying they're interested in buying a home. They're qualifying the lead and then coming and selling it to you at a 30 or 35% referral fee. So they're getting between you and the consumer and charging you a fee to be a part of that transaction. Nothing wrong with it, guys. It is a way to play the real estate game, and in your industry, you just don't ever want the majority of your business coming via a third party, right? Which is where we want to go deep on our database of people that know us and like us and will refer us business, because that's us staying in direct communication with the consumer. A couple of fun topics that are out right now that are being discussed. So you've got showing time, right? We just announced in Middle Tennessee, and I've seen some other MLSs around the country starting to roll out their own showing service. That's really exciting. That's a free service that MLS is offering. We're going to test it out in our market centers and kind of see how it's going. But it's cool to kind of see our MLSs stepping up and providing some value to us as agents in an effort to compete, right? Zillow bought Showing Time earlier this year in February. And there's some concerns about the data sharing and Showing Time having information on your listings in your house and your data. Zillow's said they're honoring the privacy policy, but there's still some concerns there. So pretty cool to see MLSs around the country stepping up and trying to offer an alternative service. And it's good for us because it's built in, right? We don't have to now go to a third party and enter in information, and just makes it easier and more streamlined. So excited to see what RealTracks has for us in store there and what others are doing around the country. Lastly, NAR is actually, debating about the idea of enforcing a rule that in Tennessee we've always had, right? In Tennessee, the broker's name and phone number have to be listed as prominently as the agent's name and phone number, right? And so if you're local, you're kind of used to that. NAR is considering a proposal nationwide to require that across all states and across all marketing, which is, to me, I really like the idea. It's funny that Zillow is actually a big supporter of it, because that means on anybody's website, you're going to have to list the brokerage and the agent more prominently than anybody else, which I think is a win for you, right? That allows the listing information and the listing details of your homes to stay, to keep you forefront of that. You know that home better than anyone else. The counter argument around the country is that it's confusing. And I'll be honest, we've all probably argued that here in Middle Tennessee, that the argument that having two phone numbers on the sign is somehow better for the consumer, where a lot of us would argue that that's actually more confusing for the consumer. And yet it does make it clear for the consumer to understand who to go to should they not be able to, or not having success reaching you as the agent. So I think that that's pretty cool that it's even being a topic that's being considered right now. And then the last thing that I want you to just put a pin in and kind of keep on the back burner is watch what's going on in Washington with the debate around buyers' commissions, right? As Washington and big businesses, typically tech companies, trying to sway the laws to say that buyer's agents receiving 3% automatically, or half the seller's commission, the listing agent commission, the listing commission, is somehow illegal or unethical or violates fair trade, is an interesting debate, right? And so if one that could have a major impact on our industry about the way that we do business. So the debate being that sellers right now in most areas, let's call it 6%, are paying the listing agent 6%, and the listing agent is turning around agreeing to co-op at 3% to the buyer's agent. The argument is that the commission isn't fair, that it's, even though it's quote not fixed and negotiable, it's kind of common practice. And so a lot of people trying to disrupt that in an effort to change how people are paid and how the money's collected. So that could be something fun to watch. And trust me, we will navigate with you through it and learn during all of this how to best maximize your business, our company's business, and make us all successful. Guys, I hope you're having a great week. I hope your house is covered in Christmas trees and Christmas lights. If I can ever be of service, don't hesitate to reach out, 615-480-9617, or reach out to your team leader, ALC, for support. Talk to you soon, guys.